Well, good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery here. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning, August 20th, 2024. Sorry we missed you yesterday. We didn't have a Zoom due to travel schedules, but we are back with a great topic today. And I don't know if we should consider it more of a success story or more of a template that you may want to follow if you're looking to get paid to help others access capital. But regardless, let's go through it. The topic is coined How to Earn $1,000 per Day Starting Today. But let's get into the meat of it, and then we can make sure that you feel like we've met the title as stated. So we have a number of different distribution distribution partners with two different models. We have the affiliate model and then what we call the white label partner. The difference is the affiliate model is just driving people into a landing page and getting paid, where the white label partners are going out under their own branding. They get to control the pricing that they charge. So in other words, they can increase the price to increase the money that they make. And they just have more autonomy because they can change whatever in the contract that they want. So affiliates are essentially our reps. White label partners are out under their own brands. We're providing the back office fulfillment, but to the world, they only see the white label partners branding. So with that being said, Zach is a white label partner, and that's important because you need to know he charges $2,000 upfront. So when we talk about the 4-week funding program, 4weekfunding.com, he's offering the same deliverable, but he has changed the price as a white label partner. So instead of charging $1,000, which was a refundable deposit, he's charging $2,000, which is still a refundable deposit, but it is twice the price up front. So you could evaluate that. Well, that creates more profit for Zach, but it also is a greater financial commitment to the participant. But Zach is a good closer, if you will, and Zach communicates, and we'll talk about Zach's pitch and process here in a minute in great detail. But essentially, Zach typically can overcome that because the prospects see the value proposition. And since the $2,000 is a refundable deposit that can be paid by credit card, it's not really a cost. It's just a deposit. Like if you went and looked for 1-bedroom versus 2-bedroom apartments, the 2-bedroom apartment would have a bigger deposit on it, wouldn't it? But you're going to get that back in the end. So the first thing I want to show you about Zach's model is he is a white label partner versus an affiliate. He is charging $2,000. With our white label partners, we do a 50-50 split. So that's how he's making $1,000 a pop. Now I'll show you how he's generating the volume in just a moment. But $2,000, $1,000 of it comes to us to do, frankly, all the work, and $1,000 goes to Zach or to you. Secondly, he also has increased the performance fee. The performance fee is the money that's charged on the back end. And when it's an internal client, we're essentially taking it to the market at what we call wholesale. So clients would only pay $1,000 up front instead of $2,000, and we charge a 10% performance fee. But again, as a white label partner, Zach and you, if you want, you control the pricing. And what Zach has come to the conclusion of, most people aren't very price sensitive on the back end. They typically are on the front end. But if you're generating value for them, most of them don't mind paying a 20% performance fee. Now, Zach can negotiate and make that lower if he wants. But as a white label partner, what do? We do a 50-50 split of the front end and of the back end. We do all the work. Now, what's really impressive and why we're talking about Zach this morning is he's closing 9 out of 10 deals. His close rate is just a nudge above 90%. You might say, holy Moses, how in the world is this guy charging more money and has such a high closing rate? Well, I'm going to go through and give you complete disclosure, but one point is he's doing the lead program. Remember recently, last week, we talked about that if you want leads, we have more than enough leads. And no, we're not selling them. There's no strings attached. You don't get paid less. You don't pay for the leads now or never. we've really figured out how to market the 4-week funding program so well, we're getting overwhelmed with leads coming in. So we started last Friday announcing we're going to give out leads if you have the time and commitment to follow up with these folks. So he's not going out buying leads or door knocking or putting flyers up. He's just spending his time talking to the leads that we're giving him. And so if you want leads, we can get you leads too. But so this is kind of the background you need to know before I go through the rest of his model. So our learning objectives today, we want you to understand, first of all, that you can increase the upfront refundable deposit, just like I said Zach's doing. We split it 50-50 as a white label partner. So you could make it 2,500, you could make it 3,000, but of course, the more you charge, the fewer people that have that amount of money to spend. It's called price elasticity. So you're going to have fewer participants the higher you make the price. Now, you might say, well, if I can control the price, why don't I just mark it as zero? Well, that doesn't work. The reason that doesn't work is now you're not making anything on the front end, and we have to get at least 1,000. Oops, we have to get at least 1,000 to cover. Keep skipping forward to cover our cost, because we have cost of administering the service. So as a white label partner, at 2,000 or above, we're doing a 50-50 split. Now, if Zach were to drop it down to say 1,500, it's not a 50-50 split because we have to at least cover our cost. We're not trying to make a profit off of you or the client, plus it's a refundable deposit. Our portion has to be 1,000 or we lose money on each client implementing. So Zach has just simply doubled the price to 2,000. And thus he's making 1,000 a deal. So I'm going to show you how he's doing a deal a day. We'll get to that volume in a moment. But does everyone understand the pricing so far? Does that make sense? So we provide, and Alicia's asking how that happens if the contract says 1,000. All of the white label partners get an editable agreement. And then the white label partner changes the agreement. They take our name and our information off. They put their name, their information on, and they change the pricing if they want. So it's a simple Word document, change that, and then normally you'd put it like in Adobe or DocuSign or what have you for electronic signature. Okay, so this is the first thing I need you to know, that you control the front end pricing. Can't really go below 1,000, otherwise you'd be subsidizing each client, which probably doesn't make sense. But you can certainly go to the market at 2,000. If you're not very good at what you're doing right now, you might say, well, that sounds horrible. I'm having trouble getting people at 1,000. How would I get people at 2,000? I'm going to show you his pitch, his process in just a moment. But let's go on through our learning objectives. So I think we've covered one. Number two is, again, so some of you, like Damar is on, and a number of you have really strong branding with your sphere of influence. And so if you want to go out under your branding, your logo, your company name, then you certainly can. And that's well suited for the white label partnership, where the affiliate's simple. The affiliate's going out just driving people to their landing page. So it's important you understand to see the two different options. I'm not here trying to upsell you to the white label partnership. You'll make more, but it's for a bit of a more sophisticated distribution partner. But I do want you to understand Zach's model, because even if you're an affiliate, a lot of what he does, you could still adopt. Okay, number three, third learning objective is we want you to recognize that the outbound financial literacy campaign to the leads we give you and all of fulfillment. So what does that mean? We don't want you to see yourself as a salesperson. You're really not. Your role is to educate. And again, I'll show you the process that Zach uses, but there's a problem in the marketplace. The problem is a lot of entrepreneurs want and need money. So that's a factual statement. Also, what I believe is a factual statement is most of them don't have a fundable business. But the problem more so is they don't even know that they don't have a fundable business. They're just saying, I want money, I need money, I want money, I need money to start or grow a business. So a big part of what Zach does, and frankly, what all of us should be doing, is really based around financial literacy. So I'll show you the steps that he goes through. So certainly it matters what the client wants. But once you understand what the client wants, it becomes important to explain to the client how we can help them accomplish getting what they want. Why this is relevant. Because if you just went out to someone and said, well, we've got this great 4-week business funding program, and you didn't explain it, most people would say, well, I don't want that. I just want funding today. Let's skip all this. This is nonsense. Well, you have to be fundable to get business funding. And that's exactly what we deliver through a very transparent, proven 4-week process. So the point is, you got to connect the dots. They often don't see that connection. All right, let's move on. So the fourth learning objective is you can be paid today every time you enroll a client. I don't want you to feel like, oh, I've got to wait till tomorrow or some point in the future. That's not the case. So with Zach, he has taken the editable agreement that we provided him. He's removed our information, put his on. He's removed our pricing and put his pricing, which we've talked about here and here. He set it up, and I forget if it's Adobe or DocuSign, one of those e-signature software. So he actually shares that link with his prospect. I'll show you his sales process in a moment, why he's closing so many of them. But essentially, then 9 out of 10 of them sign, and then they pay Zach. Why do they pay Zach? Because Zach's a white label partner. He's the one that's going out to the marketplace with his agreement, with his branding. The client pays Zach today, and then he pays us our half. So you're not waiting for us to pay you. You actually get 100% of the money coming in, and then we do a 50-50 split. Well, any of you that are astute at all about business fundability, you'll know that that is much better for you as a white label partner, because let's say that you enrolled one client a day, 30 in a month. Well, 2,000 times 30 days is $60,000. That's a good month. That's ignoring the back end, 60,000 up front. And that's about where Zach is. But if Zach were not collecting the money from the client, we were doing it. Number one, there'd be a delay because we'd have to collect it from the client and then turn around and pay Zach, which probably wouldn't happen all in one day. And then also, then Zach's business deposits are halved. Now Zach's business deposits would be 1,000 a day times 30, which would be 30,000 versus 60,000. If Zach is also trying to build a fundable business, we know that the revenue matters, and this way he's capturing the gross income. The gross income. All right, so the point here is that if you're happy as an affiliate, stay as an affiliate. It's perfectly fine. But if you want to get paid more and get paid faster, those are strong elements of the white label partner, because you're paid today each time someone enrolls, because they're paying you. All right, so that covers kind of the background of Zach's approach and what we wanted to make sure that you took away from. Now let's dig into exactly how Zach does it. And if you're not taking notes, you may want to, because now I'm going to show you kind of the secret sauce of how he's closing 90% and averaging $1,000 a day. Now, when I say $1,000 a day, he's actually bringing in 2,000 a day, but I'm showing his net because we do a 50-50 split. White label partner does the client development. We do all the implementation. All right, so let's move on to Zach's model, Zach's approach. The first thing that you need to know about Zach's approach is he spends no money and no time chasing down leads. Because if you think about what we do as the sales process, and I know we don't want to think of ourselves as salespeople, but if you just think about the sales process, there's really two parts. There's lead, and then there's the selling or the closing portion. So the first thing Zach said is he's not going to spend any money, any time, any energy going to find the leads. He just looks to us. We give him 15 a day, 15 a day, 15 a day, and we can give you the same, 15 a day. And these are people that have come to us expressing interest. So do you want to call them a hot lead? I don't know. I don't want to go that strong, but I mean, at least they're a warm lead. These are people that have come to us. This isn't some list we bought. These are people that have come to us interested in getting funding. Okay, so there's number one. That's the first important thing about Zach's approach. He spends zero time, energy, or money chasing down leads. So that frees him up to spend time talking to leads. So let's move on then. The second thing that Zach is really good about is he gets them on the phone and he asks them what they want. So he doesn't start by just regurgitating all over them about who we are and what we do. Most people care more about themselves than they do about others. So Zach, like you and like I, understand we need to start with asking the client, hey, how much funding are you looking for? What are you going to use it for? How would that change your life if you had that money? Just it doesn't have to be those specific questions, but people want to be heard. They don't want to be sold. So if you start like Zach does, I know it says second, but first was getting the leads. He's asking them just some basic questions because if you ignored this and just started telling them, oh, we got this great program, this, they don't feel, the prospect may not feel heard and they may not be connecting the dots, because what you're going to see in a moment is he's explaining how our program can help them accomplish what they tell him that he needs. So he makes notes, right? So let's say I'm talking to Claude. Claude's one of our distribution partners. He's on the training, just role playing. I'd be asking Claude, hey, Claude, I understand that you are looking for funding to start or grow a business. Can you tell me a little bit about how much money you need and what you'd be using that for? And then Claude would talk, and you kind of have to manage because sometimes people will get chatty, but you want them to feel heard first, because you're going to go back and draw a direct correlation between what they tell you they need and how we can help them accomplish it through the 4-week program. So let's move on. The third thing that he does is he wants to make sure that each prospect knows that we're going to help them for free. We are going to help you, Gilbert, for free. We're going to help you, Ernest, Frederick, whatever your prospect's name is, we're going to help you for free, because people are worried about being sold. So how is it free? Well, let's digress for a moment. So the 4-week business funding program is $5,000. I think you all know that. If not, now you do. It's $5,000. We have a grant that covers 100% of that. Oh, great. It is free. But the way the grant distributes the funding is split into 2 sections: upfront allocation and then refundable deposit. So what Zach is doing is he says, hey, don't worry, everything that we do is free. Now there is a refundable deposit. His refundable deposit we covered is $2,000. So the clients through Zach's model is getting a $3,000 allocation upfront. They don't have to beg, plead, they get it. And then the other $2,000 is set up as a refundable deposit. And that refundable deposit is paid out of the grant, out of our side, not out of Zach's side, not out of your side. So, and we're going to go down and define what's included. Well, let's scroll down because there's an asterisk. So we're going to go down and talk about what's free for a moment. So this is a little bit more of how he explains it. He would say, well, I want you to understand that there's a lot of free things that you get. And by the way, those free things are summarized down here at the bottom of the page. But we're going to provide you, and he goes in a specific order. Any of you, I know a lot of you have an MBA like I do. And one of the things that they taught us in MBA programs when we were interviewing for jobs near the conclusion of the MBA program, because you'd have all these big hitters, big companies come on campus trying to recruit you, Goldman Sachs and Arthur Andersen and Deloitte and so forth. So what we were taught is you want to be either the first person to interview with the corporate recruiter or the last person. It's what's called the primacy and recency effect. Most people, if you give them a list of things, they'll remember the first thing you said, and the last thing, they may or not remember the things in the middle. So if we were interviewing, we wanted to be the first to interview or the last, not in the middle. Here, he creates just a quick summary of what they get for free to make sure that they understand that. But he puts it in a different order than what's on the page. He starts by telling them, well, every participant gets a free $10,000 at quick cash, so we can add collateral to your balance sheet. Every participant gets a free business plan. Every participant gets a free commercial address, so you look credible for the lender. Every participant gets a free entity filing. So if you need us to form a new corporate entity, we'll do that for you for free. We do the loan packaging for free. And if your personal credit is shitty, we even have free credit sweep to help you improve your personal credit so we can have a fundable business in 28 days. So let me scroll back up to where we were. I digressed because I wanted to show you how he describes the free on number 3. But again, that's just largely a summary of this. This doesn't mention credit sweep, but I think you all know it. If not, I'll explain. So some people come to us and they've not managed their credit well, or life has happened, whatever the reason, there's no blame, and their personal credit's jacked up. Well, you and I know that not all sources of capital look at personal credit, but some do. And so when we applied for the grant, we included an allocation to do the credit sweep for individuals. The credit sweep is not credit repair, but it does repair the credit. It blocks the derogatory, and then we can also add positive trade lines. So I don't want to digress too much in that. But so let's recap. So what's Zach's approach? Why does it work so well? First, he starts with the leads we give him, so he spends no time, energy, or money getting leads. You can get free leads too. Second, he asks them what they want, so he knows what they want and they feel heard, and then he's going to go sell against how we can provide what they want. He makes sure that they understand that there's a bunch of free services available through the program. And then he's going to proactively overcome objections. And the 2 objections or even just questions that most people have is, oh, what about personal credit? Does personal credit matter? And the truth is what Zach says, and it's what I told you earlier. There's different sources of capital. Some of them don't care about personal credit. Some do. We have one lender I've pulled up on my other screen. You don't see it. They offer small business loans, and I'm looking at their underwriting criteria. I'm not making this up. They will go down to a 500 credit score, 500. The minimum business loan amount is $5,000, but the maximum is $1 million. So are there lenders out there where you can literally get $1 million with bad credit, personal credit? Absolutely. But since we have the credit sweep included, we can, of course, help them improve their credit, which we would recommend. But the point is, he addresses this right off the bat, because if you're talking to someone and they got shitty credit, they're going to be kind of sensitive, maybe embarrassed about it, and they're going to think, oh, it won't work for me. So he resolves that very proactively. And then also he helps overcome the concern of, oh, well, this isn't for me. I've already got a business. I don't need all this. This must not be for me. He explains, hey, these are all components. And if there's a component you don't need, we unplug it. So let's say that the client already has a business plan and they don't need seed capital. Well, we can unplug week 1. Or they already have a good address and already have an entity in good standing. Great, we'll unplug week 2. Doesn't change the contract, doesn't change the pricing arrangement, but we can unplug anything that they don't need. So he overcomes those 2 things. Fourth, proactively, before they even have to ask. And then last, he helps everyone understand, and he gives, because people hate uncertainty. People don't like walking into a dark room not knowing what they're going to get. So part of Zach's success, a big part, is he creates clarity, what we're going to do. And so you can see 2 asterisks here. So we'll scroll down to what it says. So what Zach's really good in doing is explaining, okay, let's get you enrolled today. The 28 days starts, right? So we can look at our calendar as of this recording. Today's August 20th. So we could do a calculation and say, well, there's 31 days in August. So around September 18th, we'll be ready to go to funding. People like certainty versus, oh, I don't know how long this is going to take or if it'll work. And then also, remember, we do seed capital in week 1. Also, he lets them know we can get you seed capital offers within 24 hours of enrolling. So this kind of seals the deal. So with that, it's our information. So let's go to any of the questions, comments, concerns that you have over the Zach model. All right, Frederick asked, is it 28 business days or 28 calendar days. It's calendar days. I don't think most people get hung up on that, but Frederick has a high attention to detail. But it's 28 calendar days. That's why we have an outline for what we do in week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. Then we go to funding. So who else has questions about Zach's approach? Much of this, I hope that you'll assimilate and consider adopting because it works really well for him. First of all, you need to make a decision. Do you want to be an affiliate or a white label partner? I don't care. The white label partner gives you some benefits, though. Number one, it allows you to change the pricing so you're making money up front. Because Zach's saying, hey, the affiliate program's great. Making 5% of the client's capital raise after the fact is great. But what Zach wants is money today and every day. And so he prices it at $2,000. We do a 50-50 split because we need a minimum of $1,000 to cover our hard cost. It's not profit to us, but it is profit to Zach. All right, so thank you, Frederick, for that question. Who else has questions about the Zach model? All right, Crystal is asking about getting leads. Yeah, so if you want leads, regardless if you're an affiliate, you don't have to be a white label partner to get free leads, by the way. So you can email us or give us a call after the Zoom, and we can get you set up in the lead flow. And so I don't manage the lead distribution, but as I understand it, it's set up to give you 15 a day. They provide you a unique link to use for those prospects, so it's easily tracked to you. And then there's some sort of accountability system that I'm not involved with, so I don't understand exactly, but I guess it's something like a Google Sheet or something where you're able to track activity. Because the last thing we want to do is start giving out leads today, tomorrow, next day, next day, next day, and then the people getting the leads are not working them. So there is a sense of accountability, and if you're not going to work the leads, then there's no reason to give you the leads. We'll give them to someone else. All right, great question, Crystal. Who else has questions on how you can earn $1,000 a day by using the Zach's model, how you can control pricing, how to increase your close rate, maybe as high or even higher than Zach, 9 out of 10. All right, Harold has a question. So what happens if the client doesn't have the 2,000? Well, that's a great point. So what we're saying is that the grant covers 100% of the cost. The program is 5,000. The grants in this illustration, the grant's covering 3,000 upfront and 2,000 is reimbursed to the participant after they complete it. So the question that's being asked is what happens if the client doesn't have the 2,000? Well, if you are a white label partner, you determine how you collect payment. You can collect payment via MasterCard, Visa, American Express, Discover, Bitcoin, PayPal, Zelle, Venmo. It's up to you if you're a white label partner, how you accept payment. And if you want to set up some sort of payment arrangement with the client, you could. But we know that we have to collect at least 1,000 or we can't perform these services. It's not free for us to do all these things. So as long as you've collected at least 1,000, and we have at least 1,000, then we can do our part. But I guess the answer to the question is you could certainly set up a payment arrangement with the person if you needed to. All right, so Jeff asks, can someone be an affiliate and convert to a white label partner? Sure, if you want, if you think that's in your interest or you want to talk about it, then just give us a call and we can do so. But the key is to look at yourself, not talking to Jeff individually, but anyone. The affiliate role is so easy, right? You create awareness and you drive them to your landing page. That makes it really simple. Where a white label partner is more involved. You don't have to do the implementation. That's not the issue. We do the implementation. That's why there's a 50-50 split. But as a white label partner, you're using your contract. We provide you the template. You edit it as we've talked about, but you're using your contract. You're getting the client under contract and you're collecting payment. So that's the significant difference is it's your branding, your contract, you control pricing. So I think there's a lot of benefits of being a white label partner, but I do not think it's the right fit for everyone. But if you want to discuss it, call us and we can go through that. And then his other question is, how do you get the free leads? Yeah, just again, call us or email us and we can get you plugged in. We are not selling the leads. We're not charging you now or never. We're not changing your payout where somehow there's a hidden fee. It's just as simple as we have a plethora of leads coming in. You've heard us talk over the recent weeks about different marketing strategies. Well, those actually work. And so we're doing it. Some of you are doing it too, but it actually works. And so because we're doing it, we're overran with prospects. All right. Damar says live plan, the business plan isn't free. Well, that's not, well, I guess it's true. It's not free, but we pay for it out of the grant. So Damar, I don't know what you mean. We don't charge the client for the business plan. It's not free, but we pay for it. Thus it is free to the client. And that's what it says here. So it's a truthful statement. Maybe I don't understand what you're asking, Damar, or you're wrong thinking that what I'm saying is inaccurate, which is not. All right. Claude asked about, I'm going to rephrase Claude's question about getting started. So yeah, let's peel back even a layer deeper. So Claude's asking if I guess if Claude's a white label partner, he collects $2,000 today. Great. And so Claude receives the $2,000 today. And then we have a system, but he's going to upload a copy of that contract into a Dropbox folder that we provide the white label partners. And he's going to send us our half because we do a 50-50 split. So then we're going to get to work. Soon as that happens, Claude, then the 28-day clock is running. And so we've got 28 days, 4 weeks to fulfill those promises, and we'll do it. We do it. The only reason we wouldn't do it is if the client's not participating. Frederick's asking about turnaround for commissions. So and this is going to confuse you, there are no commissions for white label partners. And you're going to say, what? That's because the client's paying you. The client's not paying us. The client's paying you because it's your contract, your paperwork. So the client's paying you, Frederick, $2,000 up front. Then you pay us our half, which is the 50-50 split for us to implement. The client's paying you the performance fee after each round of capital. So there is no commission we pay you. You're collecting this from the client. So in other words, as a white label partner, it's your contract. You're doing the collection of money from the client. And then from that, you're getting a lot more. We still do the implementation. Frederick's question also, though, is from affiliates. From an affiliate perspective, we pay out typically next day. The contract says once a month, but we want to pay quicker. So in most cases, we pay out next day. So you'd be paid same day if you are a white label partner. It would be next day if you're an affiliate, but there's more money as a white label partner. All right, well, we've ran long. Hopefully this helps you understand a few things. Some of the benefits of being a white label partner versus an affiliate. We covered, I believe, these learning objectives. And you know, in pretty great detail, how Zach is accomplishing such a high success rate. It's not misleading anyone. It's not lying, cheating, or stealing, but he's good at communicating, and how he does it through these 5 points really works. And maybe you'll want to adopt some of that. And again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, give us a call. Now, those of you that just have traditional affiliate questions, you have an affiliate manager, but feel free to call us and we'll help you. Talk to you soon. Have a great day. See you tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.